Good morning, Yankee fans. How's everybody doing? Before we really get into the show, make sure you have your coffee with you, your bagels, and let's get started with Yankee talk. I do have also a guest that I'm going to introduce in about a minute or so. If you're so kind to come on Mother's Day. Again, happy Mother's Day to each and every mother that is on our chat and all over the world. I did a little short to acknowledge how very special each and every mom is, every woman. Them we can't get going, and it's one of the greatest joys to have a mom or to know your mom and treat her with everything because she loves you to no end. In the meantime, I want to say hello to so far some people in the chat. Thank you, Real Bill, for coming on. Jacob Petruzzi, CT Cards, who is going to be our surprise co-host today. Nitin Sports Rush, what's up, everyone? Thank you so much for coming on in this special day for Mother's Day. Real Bill, how you doing? I really appreciate everyone. Yesterday, just to go over the game, I mean, obviously, it was a very big disappointment. The Yankees did not play their best game, as we know. But today's another day. Unfortunately, we still don't know who the starter is today, folks. We're anxious. I mean, our guesses here in the chat and myself is going to be. I would get. I don't know. I don't even want to say it because I don't want to be wrong. You guys want to take a guess? I'll be more than happy to say it. Again, I'm just happy to take all your questions. Overnight, I want to say thank you. We did get at least 5 more subscribers. So I can't thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. When we're not on, we get subscribers too. And yesterday's show, by the way, there were a lot of views, and especially the post game. And I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Okay, so let's start here. Well, all right. You know what? You guys are probably going to think, well, what about the pitcher? I think it's going to be Yarborough. I mean, that's the logical choice. But I don't know. Let's see what you think. But one of the big computer, somebody that's helped us from a long time here. I've been on 5 weeks, and he came on about a couple of weeks ago, and he's done some tremendous things and telling people about it. And we're very glad to bring him on. CT, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How you guys all doing?
To friends and to your family, friends, everybody, here and far, happy Mother's Day to your family.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day.
Very special, very special. We just to go in the chat right away. Nitin Sports says they think it's Ryan Yarborough. We'll see. Probably, yeah, you're probably right. Probably give us hopefully 3 innings, a little better start than he did last week, but the Yankees ended up winning the game. So you got a hello. I don't know if you see it from Nitin Sports Rush.
Nitin's good
Let's
stuff.
go CT Cards. You guys are great. I can't stress enough. I love it that you guys interact. You talk about how you're feeling. You talk about what you're making for dinner, what you're doing for that day, and I can't stress enough how beautiful family this has become. So CT, I'm gonna start with the most exciting question I think I could give you. How did you get involved with going to different podcasts? And not only you were doing that, but you hit like all the best ones. Forget about me. I'm nothing. But I mean, you hit Jason 161. You hit NFE. You've hit, I guess, Ace. You've hit them all. And I can't thank you enough for coming from a little guy to me. And I want to do that one day. CT, tell us about yourself. Tell us what you do.
Well, I big card collector, but I always been big in the Yanks, and we were talking about it in your channel. What happened for me is I couldn't watch the games with the volume on anymore. I started having to put mute on. Then I found that people were doing play-by-plays. Then I found like NFE, when he first started his channel. Then I discovered 161, and then I discovered all the different people, the community we have, like the people in the chat. I love the people in the chat. It's what makes these channels tick, and along with what you do, or what Ken does, say, or NFE. And I think that's what's beautiful about this. And you got the jokers, you got like Real Bill P, Stephen B, me, Dev, all Beagle Dad, we got all these great people in the chat. Then, on these shows, what's great is what you've done, Joe, is you have like Jonathan and Ken on. We're constantly connecting with each other, and we're getting all these different perspectives and views on the team, that we love, the Yankees. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And having the humor, in the chats and everything's what it's all about. But I think it's all about the community. We've all supported each other, whether it's about baseball or just about personal things. I've gotten a lot of support from people, and I've given back the same support. It's a beautiful thing to see. And Joe, I want to ask you, what made you start this channel? What got you like, I need to do this? I need to make this
Wait a
happen.
minute, you're changing this on me now. That's very nice, CT. Well, to be honest with you, I do have a background. I had mentioned I have done some radio work throughout my the younger life. I did a Yankee. I did actually, it was actually called Yankee Mania on FM radio here in New York City. I was one of the youngest broadcasters. There was a little blurb for me in Billboard that I was the youngest person ever on FM radio at 50,000 watts.
Nice.
I was 14 years old at the time. So I was very, very excited. I did a show at 12:30 at night. My dad, who owned an Italian bakery in Brooklyn, New York, Bensonhurst, he would stop what he's doing. The bakers would have to continue. He would come back home, pick me up, and bring me at 1 o'clock in the morning to in Manhattan on Riverside Drive. I'll never forget it. The greatest thing. And I started for about a year and a half, and it was getting a little bit too much. And one thing led to another, and I went to Sports Phone, which was very big at the time, where you would get all your scores updated every minute, every like 60 seconds, and you had to give the scores on the phone, every score, everything that's happening in sports in 1 minute.
Oh,
believe me, that was not easy, but I loved it. And I got to be very friendly with the Yankee official scorer, Howie Carpin, who would love to come on the show, but because of restrictions that he's an official scorer, he can't be, biased or anything. But the minute the Yankees hopefully win the World Series, that man is coming on this show, and he promises me. And I know, I did a little radio with him on WMCA, the flagship station of the Yankees years ago. So that's basically, and in the last couple of years, I've been getting the itch, and I stumbled on Jason's 161, and I was liking it. I says, you know what? Maybe I can do this. And then I stumbled on NFE, and I couldn't ask for two better, guys on there. And I wrote them, and I said, I really, I would like a chance to speak to you guys. And they did, and they like what they heard. They saw that I'm true blue, and I mean everything that I say.
Yeah.
And that's what, and then I got people like Jonathan, who's waiting in the wings, and very nice of Jonathan to come on here on this Mother's Day morning. So I will bring him up in just a second. And that's basically how we got here. I said, my passion is the New York Yankees. I live, breathe New York Yankees talk. Some people call me the encyclopedia. So I have quite a bit of knowledge. I'm always learning something. I have, just things in general, and I speak my mind. I love them to death and to the fault, because when they do something wrong, you got to know about it. Not only me, but the fans out there. You have to realize what's going on, and that's really how we got started. And I love it. Then I decided to do this coffee and bagel show, which I
Love
thought
it.
was a very, very good move.
Love it.
And start our day, talk about what happened the night before, if any trades, the Yankees, or in baseball, or whatever, any news that pertains to the New York Yankees, we talk about. So, with that in mind, I know you have other questions, and I do have others for you, but I'm going to bring in Jonathan. Good morning. Happy
Hey,
Mother's Day to
Jonathan.
mom and
Hi,
family.
hi. Good
How you
morning.
doing?
I'm good. I'm just dealing with my runny nose or something. So I'm
Okay. Well,
slowly
hope,
waking up from the morning.
I hope you feel better. Well,
I'm
CT,
sure. I'm sure. An allergy.
Yeah.
we're going to this morning do a little bit different. We are, of course, going to talk about the Yankees, but we're going to talk about, like with CT, how he got started in this, and
Yes.
what
Yes.
what his passion is. And Jonathan, you know what? Before CT answers, goes again. What about your passion?
Yeah.
How did you really get? How did you tell
How did I
everyone
get?
in the
How did
chat?
I get started in coming online?
Yeah.
Yeah, how did that all come about?
I think it started once when I was coming home from a Yankee game. On either that, I think I was coming home from a Yankee game from the Bronx, and on my way home, I just looked at YouTube and I found Jason's channel, and I was listening on my phone, and I liked what I was hearing. So every day after a game, I would just go on YouTube. I subscribed, and this is when I think Jason still had less than 10,000 people.
My God, I
So
could only
this
imagine.
was this was also during in 2020 when there was nothing else to do.
COVID. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, yes, I wasn't coming home from a game. I was coming home. I was watching. I went to my dad's house, and I was walking. I was walking back, and that's when I listened to Jason on YouTube. That's it, because 2020 nobody was going to the games on the subway.
Yeah, but
So
Jonathan,
that's
you're also legendary because you break a lot of stories.
well,
You broke.
I always had a passion for the Yankees. I've been to spring training twice. I went for my 21st birthday to a game.
Oh, nice. Nice.
I went the year before. I actually went to Tampa for the first time to spring training, and I met Alex Rodriguez in the gift
Very
shop.
nice. Very nice.
So
Well, let's all hear it. Was he nice to you?
he was very nice. I was shocked to. I almost didn't. You know what happened is I went to the gift shop. I saw Alex Rodriguez, and I immediately ran out. And
Oh, did you?
my mom and a friend were with me because it was just a coincidence. And my mom and a friend went up to Alex, introduced me to Alex, and I got his autograph. The
Very
same thing happened the next year with Reggie Jackson, and he unfortunately he said no before I even answered. Before I even finished asking him the question of asking for an autograph. And again, it's the same scenario, just me and him and my mom in the gift shop.
Mm-hmm.
He said no. The cashier lady was kind enough to give me a ball without paying for it, and unfortunately, he didn't sign it, and I gave her the ball back.
Well,
this was all in Tampa.
well, that that's one thing that people have got to understand. We put these guys on pedestals, but you don't know unless you follow them, you interview them, and sometimes you say to yourself, and I looked up to this guy, and I looked up to
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
you don't realize it, but a lot of people keep their mouth shut because they want their job, they need their job, and they don't need the Yankee PR people, sports team to call up, say, hey, listen, do not send this guy ever again because it just doesn't work. But well, we looked in it, not on my end, but he put it on pause. But CT, tell us all about your card, some of your card collection. It's
uh,
very interesting.
yeah,
And
I sent you some videos and some pictures of cards. I
yes,
I gotta say I kind of lost interest in card collecting for a while, and then I would say when COVID happened is when I got back into it. But I'd spent years collecting, but I've taken a few years off from collecting, and when COVID happens, when I started to really get back into the vintage baseball card collecting. And so what I would do is I would start with the common players, like when I put together the 1959 Yankees team, I started with the common cards. And
mm,
then I built up to like Whitey Ford, Yogi Berra, or Roger, Roger Maris wasn't a Yankee then, but you get my point though. I built up sets and I just kept on building up sets and, I love collecting and like with you mentioned NFE channel, I made sure I sent him some cards to give away. I think I sent Pinstripe Territory cards to
that's
I told you I'm not in this for money. I like to collect, share, and just involve people and talk to people about sports. And I love talking about the history of like the Yankees. Like my favorite team's the '61 Yankee team.
have
Um,
have you ever? I don't mean to interrupt, but
well,
have you ever considered reaching out to Steiner Sports and let him look at your collection, and they will give you a very honest opinion. What you can do, and maybe structure something for you. And in all honesty, which I found out later on, he was in my social studies class in high school. I had no idea. And
comes full circle.
when I called him and I told him, it was like, oh yeah, I remember that teacher. And I said, that's right. We just like, I don't know who, a lot of people out there know Joel Sherman
I do.
from MLB and the New York Post. Well, I went to school with him too. I went actually to college, and we actually did, I believe, a show or two on KRB radio in Brooklyn for that, which I was so happy that he went that path, and he did very well. I also have another claim to fame. When I did radio it used to be the ESPN station on FM. I saw a liking to this one broadcaster up and coming, and eventually he became the voice of the New York Islanders, and that was Jim Cerny. And I really, I was so proud because some of the guys that came to work with me over at WMCA really made a names for themselves, and I'm very proud of it, very proud of it. But yeah, you do a wonderful job with that, and you should always take a look, see what you have. I mean, you have some interesting cards there. I mean, I did see off the top of my head what you have. What Willie Mays?
Yeah, Willie Mays, Roger Maris, Whitey
Yeah,
Ford.
anything Willie Mays is definitely
Yeah.
worth a few bucks. No
All right.
question about it.
I collect mainly vintage, but occasionally I'll get a fever. Every winter before spring, I'll buy some new cards just so I can get more up to date with some of the players on the other teams. Not I already know about the Yankees, so the cards kind of help me kind of figure out, okay, who's the lineup looking like for the Braves, or how's the lineup looking like for San Diego. And then guys know I'm a huge Michael King fan, so I do follow San Diego a little bit.
Mhm.
But that's the only reason I collect the newer cards. But
Okay.
but Jonathan, I had a question for you. Um, what with the whole Soto thing and us trading, what we traded. What is your vibe on? Do you really? I have to ask you because I haven't asked you directly. Do you think there's a chance we could get Michael King back in the off season? I'm sorry to change the subject. I just had to ask you, Jonathan, because I hadn't gotten to ask you.
In the off season, I think there is a chance, although a big problem is the Yankees seem to be, at least in recent years, a one and done team where they would put one big contract out
Yeah,
and not have another big contract, maybe sign a bunch of other low level players. I don't know because look, the Yankees have a lot of work to do. They need to the only way for the Yankees to ever lower their payroll is to develop guys from the minors and bring
we
them up. That's the only realistic way, unless they could do something that they never do, which I think would be a good idea, and it's also a risk, is if you sign a guy like Volpe and Wells to a 7-year deal during arbitration, and I would say I that's the only real way they can lower the payroll long term if they do what other teams have done.
yeah.
But I know the Yankees don't do that.
Yeah,
However,
they don't believe in that. They won't.
No.
well, then if they don't believe in that, I don't want to ever hear Hal complain about the payroll, because the payroll, he always says the payroll is too high. The payroll is too high. Well, how do you, for example,
Yeah.
if
They're scared.
if
Jonathan, they're
after
scared.
if
I know it.
after Aaron Judge's rookie year, let's say they offered him a 10-year, I don't know, a 10-year, $250 million contract.
Mhm.
That's a lot of money for a rookie, but
Yeah,
would
but
he
nobody
reject?
really knew what Aaron Judge was
I
going
Yeah.
to
know,
be.
but this is what you have to take a risk of your own prospects. You have to.
Yeah, but
They're your own prospects. You should know what they're capable of in the
right.
minors, and they have to take a
Well,
risk.
Jonathan, let me ask you this, and CT, you chime in also.
Yeah.
The way you're seeing Anthony Volpe, and believe me, he's close to my heart. He really is, and I am a little critical. But what you've seen, do you think he's worthy right now of let's say a 7-year deal at hundreds of millions of dollars,
Well,
but he already got a great signing bonus? Everybby tends to forget that. I don't know if anybody knows, but he got a very, very
yeah,
lucrative
I know he got
signing
over
bonus.
$2 million.
Yes. And I'm just with the stats the way it is. If I'm Hal Steinbrenner, I am not giving him a 7-year deal yet. You
Well,
got to show me a little bit more. I'm sorry. That's my money or not my
I
money.
understand, but I'll also look at the guy like Wells. You can give him a 6-year, maybe 6-year at 65 million or something like that.
That's all right.
Do you think Wells should get as if Wells continues to play like he's playing now? Let me put up his let me just bring up his numbers just for
I know, but
argument's sake.
he's batting 212.
Yeah.
212,
So at least around there. I mean,
211.
I am not going to invest on two guys that are just over the Mendoza line. I
I know.
won't do that. Not at least for another year. Let's see what happens if it brings a World Series. if he really improves. I mean, there's no justification. I mean, I could see a Witt, I could see people like that, and even a
Look,
couple of players on the A's. I would lock up their shortstop immediately before I would lock up Volpe,
you would lock up who?
the A's shortstop,
The A's
up and
shortstop.
coming. What's
Oh, Wilson.
the name escapes me right now, but
Wilson.
he has much more potential than Volpe. I mean, he's showing it.
I'm a little worried about Volpe. You know, like there's these glimmers of hope here with him, and I hope he can continue it because when he gets going, he looks pretty good. But it's been this. This is what happens with Volpe.
Volpe also. There's another. That could be another problem with Volpe is that he had the Yankees are very strong in the shortstop position in the minors, and if Volpe continues to bat 230, 240 with some power and doesn't steal bases like he should, because I have no idea why the Yankees do not use Volpe's speed in a game. They never do.
No, they never do.
They have a lot of shortstops in the minors. Someone might be able to replace him. So I know Volpe was
they make the right choice.
I know Volpe is a longtime Yankee fan, born in New Jersey, just like Derek Jeter was. But
understand that, but
again, you have to go with the best players.
You're not showing me enough.
Yeah.
If you go into spring training next year and you have another shortstop in the minor league system that's killing the ball, making great defense, you have to give him a chance.
Without a doubt. Well, that's what I'm saying. So to lock up, you want I got to see.
As I said, locking up players that are young is really the only solution that I see in terms of the payroll. But look, the Steinbrenners have more money than they know what to do with. If they have to wait a few years to lock up a player and pay more, just like they did with Judge, they'll do it. If not, they'll just let the player walk and have.
Well, I'll give you guys a question to answer, and everybody in the chat. Do you really believe right now? Forget about the other guys. Anthony Volpe is a 5th place hitter. Does he deserve to be our number 5 hitter? Somebody answer that for me, because
I would put him.
I have a problem with that.
I would put him at the bottom of the order.
Me too. I'm with Jonathan.
I would put him at number 7 or 8. I think he would. When you remember earlier in the year, or I don't know if it was this year or last year, when Volpe was hitting number 7, he was hitting great without any problem, and the Yankees for some reason moved
him. Yeah.
And then he fell apart. If one guy feels comfortable at the 7th position,
leave him there.
Leave him there. And I think I have a feeling that also messed up with his confidence. So he needs to stick. The Yankees need to stick with a lineup. They can't just. They've been moving up the lineup too much. This is something they needed to figure out in March in spring training.
Right, but just because, what do you call? We have a lefty. He automatically put Paul G. Leading off. Why? Why are you leading him off when you need him in the RBIs?
Yeah,
we struggle. And what does he do? He puts him on top. It makes no sense.
I don't like. I understand putting a high on base guy first, but I prefer the old structure better, where you have your top 2 players in the 3-4 hole, or in these days it's the 2-3 hole. But anyway, you don't put one of your best players in the leadoff spot.
No, that means
I honestly I always thought.
And then you bring up a lefty hitter in Trent Grissom.
Yeah,
Let him start out, and
I
then bring in your
yes,
charges.
I think honestly, I think either Grisham, maybe even Volpe, one of those guys should be the leadoff hitter.
No Volpe.
No Volpe.
Okay,
I'm
Grisham.
with Joe on that. I'm with Joe on that. No Volpe.
No,
Yeah,
Volpe. I thought, well, I thought initially when I saw Volpe, I thought he could be a good leadoff hitter.
I
But
did too initially. Yeah,
Volpe is probably best at the seventh or eighth hit place.
I agree.
He could
I want to
also.
thank just a quick everybody. Thank you in the chat, Sean Browning and John the Beagle Dad. How you doing? Please press the like button, the notification button. I do want to give you a quick note, everyone. I can't say for sure yet. Hopefully within the next hour or so, but I may have a surprise for everyone if you're around. I may do the play-by-play today. Ken from The Ugly Truth cannot. And I'm hoping there is a good possibility if our plans go a little bit deeper into the Sunday afternoon, early evening, I will be able to give you fans a shout out, and we could be together for the full game. And then we do a very, very short post game. There'll be no pregame. If I don't go on live for the play-by-play guys, I will do a pregame, and then we'll see about the post game later on. But I'm going to do everything, all the content to help everybody Sunday and make everybody smile. And hopefully I could scream a few home runs today. I'm sorry. I just wanted to give that while we have quite a few people in the chat. And I know there are people that don't want to chat that are watching. So just press the like button. I would really appreciate that.
Jonathan,
Yeah.
you brought up the other day something. I think it was you brought it up, and I agree with. Is you should just have like two lineups, one for lefties, one for righties, to an extent. I think that was what you brought up. That rather
If I
than
brought it up, I don't remember, but yes, I agree with that.
I agree with that too. I don't like this whole changing. Like
No,
there's too much moving around.
the I think I have a feeling that's one part of the recent struggles versus teams we usually on paper teams we should destroy.
Yeah.
I mean this. I think also the return of Jonathan Loizaga will really help the bullpen.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. One quick game note, everyone. Not sure if you know, but we do have there is an early game with the Mets and the Cubs at 12:05. Not on Apple, but on Roku. I mean, you got to go surfing everywhere for all these games. So that game is at 12:05 if you want early baseball. And of course, the Yankees will not come on till what are we looking at? 4:00 today, guys.
I think 405.
405.
4:05. Right. It is.
Yeah.
With no
I don't even know why do they have so many streaming networks that nobody can watch it?
I mean, all of a sudden, Roku came in. But, before you know it, it's going to be the No Network is showing Yankee games. I mean,
look, why don't they? You can just listen to it on the radio as long I don't even know if they're gonna play it on a game on the radio if it's on a streaming network.
We're gonna do something. We're gonna do a little something different. Instead of me asking you guys the question about anything, ask me a question and also give it out. You're co-hosting right now, so give it out and also let if you want to ask the chat something, by all means. CT, you could give it a start.
Oh, great. Put me on the spot. I see how it is.
That's the beauty of podcasts and radio. Are you kidding me?
Well, okay. Well, I made a little bit of notes here, and I want to get into last night's game if possible, if you guys are cool with that.
Yeah.
Now, last night we saw a little bit of good. We got Goldie had a hit. Judge had his two homers. His 14th homer total, 14 homers total on the season, 3 RBIs. Bellinger once again with 2 hits and a walk. If you guys have noticed, his average is starting to creep up. It went from, I think he was under 200. Now he's up to, I think, 224. Wells got a hit, and hey, Pablo got a hit last night. What a concept! I didn't think that guy could actually hit the
We
ball.
will discuss that.
But I sunk it in the third inning when the A's got to Rodon because I don't know, Rodon has these kind of like meltdowns, and luckily he kept it to 4 runs total. But I think he 98 pitches. He gave us 6 innings pitch, which is good. That's what we need, length at least out of our starters, because that was something that was starting to make me very nervous. Uh, even a week and a half ago was our starters giving us, like Will Warren giving us what 3 2/3 that one game, and but and we left runners on, and last night, Cruz and Hamilton both gave up three runs, out of the bullpen. So I don't know. I just was wondering what you guys thought of what you saw last night with the team. Put it that
Well,
way.
it's Mother's Day, so I want to keep it. I do not want to lose my cool, but I can't tell you what the heck was Trent Grissom doing yesterday. He looked like he was in another station. Which way did he go? Which way did he
You
go?
go.
Are you kidding me? I mean, look, I love what he's done. He's done a tremendous job. He's also making 5 million big ones. So you know what? Perform. Okay, last year you had an excuse because they had the lame duck in left field. Oh, the doubles machine. The doubles machine. What do you do? 3 for the Yankees? We're lucky. Are you kidding? You're kidding me. And then if you're going to give a chance to Mr. Dominguez, let him play. I mean, the night before, and I'll wrap up after the 3 home runs. I mean, is it disgusting that you have to worry about, is he going to be in the lineup tomorrow? We actually had to ask that question.
Yeah, we did.
Are you serious? A man hit 3 home runs. Are you going to tell me that we thinking about not playing this guy? I mean, if he wouldn't have played, it would have been. I think I would have went through the screen.
It felt like it would have been a total Boone move, though. I don't mean to get him Boone's case, but it would have been a Boone move if he hadn't been in the lineup. That totally would have made sense to me. I could totally have seen him not being in the lineup last night.
Right. Well, this is about, I guess, Trent Grissom. Real Bill goes, I told you guys I played on the field. The wind swirls like hell. Even the A's players had a hard time fielding those balls. I understand that to a point, Bill, but Trent Grissom does go into a funk. If you notice, sometimes because he's so, he's like a younger version of Andrew Jones. Whoever saw Andrew Jones always thought that he never really cared about the game, and he was just out there and he caught a fly ball. And no, he played his heart out, but he can't do that because, as you see, like in the World Series, and I hate bringing up Game 5, that ugly head is going to come up again. It may not happen today. It may not happen tomorrow, but it's going to happen. And when in a very, very bad situation, and that's what worries me. And that's why I would love the Yankees to do the little things before the game. And that is infield practice. Let the pitcher run to first base instead of being a statue. Let them do what they need to do. Years ago, they were nowhere near making the money they're making now. I mean, let's face it, guys. The guy on the bench, the guy that basically, picks up all the towels and everything, he's making $800,000. I would like that. I'll pick up all your towels. I'll bring them to the bullpen for you.
And he's got a 401k.
Yeah, and he's got, and he also will have, he'll get Social Security, and a pension from Major League Baseball. They didn't do that. The average guy on the bench years ago was making $35,000, $65,000 if they were lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I how do you not know? You've got. I could see a guy like Aaron Bunt, Aaron Boone. Oh my God, Aaron Judge not bunting. I could see a Giancarlo Stanton. But why isn't it that a Volpe, that a Cabrera, that a Peraza, even for that matter, he's not in the lineup right now. Chaz Chisholm. Why not? I don't say Wells. Wells is, he's not a bunter. Let's face it. But you gotta try. What happened to going from first a hit and run once in a while? Because the Yankees always swinging and missing. Damn it!
Move the runner. I thought it was all about moving the runner.
That's one part of the Yankees game that has basically gone away, is just moving the runner and playing small ball. The Yankees don't incorporate small ball ever since Aaron Boone has been the manager.
Yes.
100%.
And that's a big problem. That you have to in a baseball game, you have to use anything to your advantage. And if you have first and second with nobody out and a guy like Peraza or Cabrera at the plate, they have to try to at least move the runners over, try a hit and run, and do what they can. Because when they don't, other teams will be prepared for. It also gives the other team. Let me rephrase. It doesn't keep the other teams on their feet. The other teams basically have an expectation that the Yankees will not do this, will not hit and run, will not bunt, and it makes them easier to be in a defensive mindset instead of, maybe I have to move in, play in, and if someone hits a ball, hits a bloop fly ball, I won't be able to run back and catch the ball because I'm playing infield in. Or if this guy doesn't usually bunt, I'm playing the infield back, and all of a sudden I'm seeing a bunt, and now I have to run to get the ball.
Yep.
So there is no element of surprise when it comes to the Yankees.
Well, what's nice to see Cabrera though come back. Remember, he had that horrible bunt, like 2 games before.
Well, this is what batting practice is for.
Yeah.
Batting practice. You should learn how to bunt. Spring training, these guys needed to learn how to bunt. What were they doing for 6 weeks in Tampa? Right. Waiting to go to New York?
Playing Xbox with Boone.
Well, maybe that's another. I know the Yankees like having a player-friendly atmosphere, but you still have to do your job.
Yeah, I agree.
They bring out a good point in the chat. Everybody needs to know how to bunt, but we're not asking certain players because that's really out of the element. That's like years ago. Billy Martin asked Reggie Jackson, one of the greatest home run hitters of all time, to bunt. And then he decided to bunt on his own.
Oh.
Well, this is why Billy Martin. This is why Billy Martin should have never been a manager after a certain period of time.
Oh, but it got him to Monument Park, guys.
Well, that was because that was. Look. I read that Billy Martin was supposed to come back for the 1989 season before he died in the drunk driving.
Yes.
So I think that is one of George Steinbrenner's most dumbest moves that he ever made, is the fact that he hired and rehired.
Well,
if you like the guy, if you want the guy to manage your team, regardless how he acts, just give him a 10-year contract and have him play. And if you want to tolerate his bullshit, don't fire him and hire him. Because if any other person in the world that was treated like that, how would a company, how would a business look if you kept hiring and firing the same guy after a year?
Well, listen, George Steinbrenner had a lot of faults. He also had a lot of, beautiful things. I mean, things you don't see in the background. He
Well,
also brought us the Yes Network when they were sharing on MSG
I I
Network
un-
in New York.
I understand that started in 2002 though.
Right, right.
So
But I'm sorry, go ahead.
yes, later in his life, George Steinbrenner had a more compelling uh, sound to him, or he was more compelling to the fans. But before the Yes Network and before actually Joe Torre, he was hated by the fans.
No, I do. Listen, I have a list, guys, of the good and the bad of George, and nobody was a bigger fan than him, especially the way a few times he treated me. Like he knew me his whole life, rah-rahing because I was the only one in the media, up in the media section, going, yeah, 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 base hit and everything. And he's looking at me. I thought at first he was going to say, get this guy out, but he didn't. He was like, yes. And when I came out, I'll never forget this. One day he goes, "Son, you're a big Yankee fan, aren't you?" I said, "Yes." And he says, "Well, that's great, and I want to see more of you here." And that was one of the biggest thrills. And that's when I had the courage to ask him, "Mr. Steinbrenner, would you be kind enough to give me a little interview? I'm just, I'm just getting started. I'm not a Phil Pepe. I'm not this one. I'm not that one." And he said, "Yes, I will." And he gave me the number to the secretary, worked it out. And that was the greatest thrill, to go in George Steinbrenner's office. And then when you go and sit down, you're sitting down on this big, huge bluff. And you see a picture of the shipbuilding. And I was like a kid with candy. And at that time, to be honest, I was only 19 years old. And that was the greatest thrill I ever had.
I think the George really made two big mistakes when it came to manager. One, in the 70s, he did not give Elton Howard a chance to manage.
I agree. Elton
And
Howard.
two, he fired Yogi Berra.
Yeah.
Yeah, after 16 games.
Those were the two big. I think the two best Yankee players to be a manager were Elton Howard and Thurman Munson. I think Thurman Munson could have been a great Yankee manager.
Yeah, he would have never taken it because of his love of his family.
But he made it. Look, I'm thinking as a manager.
No, I know.
I'm thinking he's 20 years retired. Maybe look, I'm not knocking Joe Torre, but if he was retired. If he was retired in 96 instead, he would have been 50 years old, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe at that time his kids are already in college. He'd been out of baseball for a couple of years. Maybe he would give it a chance. I'm sure if George had the opportunity to have Thurman Munson on the team, he would not say no.
Well, I don't know if you guys ever saw the interview. He was interviewed on, I believe it was ESPN, and he said, Thurman didn't want to be the captain, and he says, "Well, that's just too bad, Thurman.
That's
you are going to be our captain, whether you like it or not."
That's what Derek Jeter also said.
Yes,
he said, "I'm paying you. I know I'm paying you. You're going to be the captain." That's what he does with his finger.
To me, the number one mistake, the real big mistake that I was very, very upset about, is that they did not re-offer Reggie Jackson at least a 3-year contract.
Yeah,
that was the worst mistake because he still had a lot in the tank. And what they did was they replaced him with what they called the Bronx Bunters. They had gotten Dave Collins, and they had gotten Ken Griffey Jr., who happened to be a good Yankee.
Yeah,
I'm not going to take that away from him. But and then of course, I want to trade Al Leiter for Jesse Barfield. Barfield was a good player, but you saw what Al Leiter what became. They got rid of Dave Drabeck. They brought in Ken Phelps. I used to call him the digger. You dig up graves. He was like he looked so old at first base. I mean, he would make any retired Yankee look young. That was pathetic. Fred McGriff, yes, Sean Browning.
In the 1980s, they signed so many players. I think in those 10 years, they only had 2 first-round draft picks.
Right, but they kept winning.
But yes, they kept winning, but it led up to the losing streak of the 89 to 93 season, where they finished 1 year in last place. You cannot build a team based on free agents alone. You have to build a farm system. And I know you're gonna you like George Steinbrenner, but the best thing that ever happened to the Yankees is him getting suspended for 5 years.
Right.
Because if he wasn't suspended, chances are you might not have Derek Jeter, you might not have Mariano Rivera, you might not have Andy Pettitte, and you might not even have Paul O'Neill.
Well, I'll never forget everybody was where I was when the Yankees made the trade for Paul O'Neill, and everybody said, "Oh, they got another part-time player, and they got rid of Roberto Kelly." Well, to be honest with you, and I'll take this anywhere, anybody that knows me, I could not stand Roberto Kelly. I thought he had nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Right there with you, Joe.
He went rah-rah when Paul O'Neill was traded to the Yankees, and I said, this guy is going to be a gem. And what happened? He can't hit lefties. That's all you heard on Mike Francesa and Chris Russo. The people, they can't hit lefties. What are they doing? They go get Wade Boggs too. He's over the hill. Well, what happened 2 years later? No pitcher wanted to come to the Yankees. How did they sign Jimmy Key? You know how? On a cruise ship. Because everybody turned them down. Nobody wanted to come to the Yankees. Why? Well, I guess it was George. But Jimmy Key's wife was his agent. She says, "Hey, the Yankees want you." He said, "Okay, let's do it." And guess what? He is the guy that won that last game at Yankee Stadium when the house was shaking with Joe Girardi's triple. I've never in my life heard the stadium I really thought was going to fall down. I really did. And that was one of the biggest thrills of being in that World Series. So,
did you go to the 96 World Series?
I went to the last game.
You went to the last game.
We went to the last game.
I went to both games in 98 and I think game 1 of 99.
Okay. Well, 98, I did go. I did see the David Cohn perfect game.
Oh,
I
nice.
almost went to David Wells. I ended up having to do a triple shift at Madison Square Garden, so I was watching it on my phone. And also, I was at the Jim Abbott no-hitter and the Dwight Gooden no-hitter. So I've been kind of a lucky charm for them. So I told, hey, Desiree, good morning. Happy Mother's Day. Don't know if you are, but to your family, your mom, anybody, everybody, thanks for joining. I really appreciate it. Hope you had your coffee. I hope you're feeling well. So with all of that in mind, guys, there was a lot of good and bad, but the Yankees are the Yankees. They have they just have the greatest players. They have the biggest names. I just got, I wish I kept it. I got a clip, a little video from a cousin of mine that lives in Milan, Italy. And he traveled to Rome. And he said, Joe, I cannot believe how many Yankee hats are here. How many shirts? And he says, I thought of you right away. He says, oh my God, is this Joe over here? I mean, is he like handing these hats out? So the Yankees are very popular everywhere, and I think that's what gets. I mean, a lot of people upset because no matter what, they're Yankee fans everywhere.
There's only one sports team in America that has a greater value than the Yankees, I believe, and I think that's the Cowboys.
Then who? The Cowboys?
I think the Cowboys are the only American sports franchise that have a greater uh, sport value than the Yankees.
Well, you do know. I'm not sure if you guys know, but the Yankees and the Cowboys are connected in business.
No.
They are in the food chain. So there's a big connection between the Yankees and it started with George and is continuing. It's just not publicized a lot, but believe me when I tell you they are combined in many ways with hospitality. So
George made a deal
everybody
with
wants to
Jerry
know
Jones.
why I'm a Cowboy fan. Well, that's why.
Jonathan, that's funny. That's funny.
I go well. No, I actually go back to I don't want to date myself, but I go back to a very ending of Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett, and of course the Emmett Smith era and all of that. So you can't call me a fair weather friend.
Well, I can tell you, I know much less about football than I do about baseball.
Yeah,
Baseball, I know everything. Football, I don't think I could have a 5-minute talk with you.
Yeah, right. I don't think so. Just like I'm not the biggest Knicks fan, but I'm very happy for everybody in the chat that definitely that loves the
Now,
Knicks and everything.
Well, what
I-
happened last night to our Knicks? Oh,
yeah,
Oh yeah. Well,
yeah, they got
I was giving NFE and Ken updates. And it was believe me, for them, for everybody, it wasn't good updates.
no.
So
The Knicks just couldn't do anything yesterday.
for more people that just joined the chat, I want to let everybody know. I will know I would say by 10 a.m. Depending on the plans for today, we may do our Mother's Day a little bit later. So if we do, I am going to do the live broadcast. I will broadcast the game today. So everybody look forward to that. I'm going to put a short out by 10 a.m. If I don't, then I will do a pregame and then maybe we'll do a postgame later tonight. But one way or the other, you will get all content, I promise you, of what's going on throughout the day. So if everything goes good, I'm hoping that all of you, including Jonathan, whatever you can do, CT, you can come on. I on there with us. I appreciate it. Desiree, everyone. So I want to make it pleasurable. I want to call home runs for the Yankees today. I hope we beat the pants off of Luis Severino because he said we only have 2 hitters. He said that last year. He might be right, but that doesn't mean he has to say it. So we got to make him eat his words. So before I want to go around a little bit with everyone. What do you think? We don't know the Yankee pitcher is unless it's announced yet, but what do you think they're going to do with Severino? Do you see a lot of runs? And who do you think is going to be the hero for the Yankees? I'd like to hear from everybody in the chat, but we will start with CT.
ooh, well, no, we don't have the lineup out yet. I still think we're gonna get Yarb. He's gonna open up or start for us tonight. I kind of think, I think his time he was out, he gave us 4 innings pitched, 1 run. If he could replicate that, and if we could even get maybe 4 2/3 out of him, get closer to 5 innings, and if he can keep it, 3 runs or less, I think we won't be taxing the bullpen as much. And but with Sevy, I don't know. I think Sevy's going to look really good for about 3 innings, and we're going to start getting to him. That's my feeling. And Sevy, if you watch some of Sevy's games, he'll get going 3 innings, beautiful, and then he'll give up, kind of like just a domino effect. And I kind of think we'll pull a domino effect with Sevy today. That's just my 2 cents.
Now, what about your hitting star? Who do you think?
Well, I don't know what the lineup's going to be, but I'm telling you right now, Bellinger's heating up. I know a lot of people have been talking down about him, but ever since the start of May, last night I said he had 2 hits, a walk, and a run. Its average is going up. Uh, I think Bell and Goldschmidt. I think Goldschmidt's going to get a home run tonight. And I always, whenever anybody asks me this question, they ask me, "Who do you think's going to hit a home run tonight?" The only reason I never mention Aaron Judge is because it's just kind of a given at times. It's not even worth like even throwing my opinion on that out. I'd rather pick other people because Judge just tends to all of a sudden there it is. So, but I say Goldie, Bellinger. It'd be nice to see. Depends if Rice is in the lineup, but Rice. It'd be nice to see Rice get a
Oh, I
couple
think
hits
Rice.
tonight.
I think Rice will be in the lineup today. I'm pretty sure about that.
I want him to. I want to keep make sure he keeps hitting here because I don't want him to pull what he pulled last year. Because I had a conversation. I don't mean to change the subject. I'll make this quick. Remember last year? Because I had a conversation with somebody on another channel, and I remember last year Rice had that game with 3 home runs, and then went nosedived right after that game. I don't want to see that happen this year from him. I want to make sure, it's okay to, have your moments of a slump, but it's coming back out of the slump. I want to make sure if Rice does go into a slump, he's able to get out of it this year, unlike last year where he just kind of got lost. But, I don't know. I say Belly, Goldie, I'm going to go with that. And I just hope that if Yarbrough's pitching, that we can get, four plus innings out of him. That would be nice.
Okay, Jonathan, take it away.
Yeah, very similar. I would like to see your bro go 4+ innings, maybe 5. Try to go a little deeper than 4, in my opinion. Save a little bit of the bullpen. But I'm hoping that look, Severino is not when he's on his game. He's a near Cy Young candidate. We had him on that team. We know what he's capable of. So the Yankees just have to be patient in their at bats and wait for their pitches. They cannot expand the strike zone.
Okay, so
As far as this game, yeah, I think the Yarborough is if he's the starter, which hasn't been announced officially yet, he needs to just stay cool. I think also he's going to go 4 to 5 innings. If he can give up maybe 2 runs or less, that would be an ideal situation. Or if he pitches a good game, maybe he can go to the 6th inning.
Yeah.
yeah,
But yesterday Rodon went 7 innings,
6.
6 innings. So
Yeah.
he pitched pretty. The bullpen should be fresh enough to cover a longer game.
okay. Well, my prediction, guys, I think Yarborough will give a pretty good start. Obviously, we're gonna see Tim Hill today. We will definitely see Denver Williams
Williams.
if we're obviously ahead or tied. So that's gonna be a big key. And my big guy is I'm gonna go with. I'm going to go with uh, Trent Grissom today. I think he's going to make redemption,
Redeem himself. Yeah.
redeem himself. I really do. Welcome, Stephen B, to the chat. Also, thank you.
Oh, Stephen B's here. Uh-oh.
And I just feel that way. As long as we could hit Severino, we'll know with Severino right away.
Yeah.
You'll know what to expect and whatnot. The first 2 innings are going to be very, very interesting. If the Yankees could put up a couple of spots there, and Yarborough could, what scares me with Yarborough is the 2 big hitters that they have in the lineup. Rooker there at first base, and also their shortstop. So they kind of scare me as right-handed hitters. But if he can keep the ball away, that would be, again, the key is get 2-3 runs. Although Yankees were ahead yesterday, but that was one of those days. We file it away, and hopefully we'll not only win but gain back the game that we lost, being the fact that the Red Sox trounced Kansas City last night. So that's my take. And so again, I want to tell everybody that I will let everybody know in just a little bit, in a short. So it's either the pregame show or we will do a stream that will come on like 5 minutes before the actual game. We will let you know. And I want everybody, again, happy Mother's Day to each and every one. The mother, rather, is here or looking down, looking up at us. By all means, pray. We pray for them, and we really, really, we love you guys. Thank you, everybody that signed in the subscription overnight. I believe 4 or 5 people did overnight, and I'm real excited about that. And you have the confidence in NY Yankee Mania to succeed and go forward. And I will definitely, you can put it to the bank that the 8 o'clock coffee and Yankees will be here. Pregame and postgame will be here. And all your wonderful chats and your participation in the stream is fantastic. And rain or shine, we're here, and we'll always be a friend to you. You want to talk, you want to say something off the air. You know how to say hello and whatever you want to talk about. If you have an idea, I'm more than happy to take in anything you guys would like. And I will definitely, one thing with me, honesty. Anything you guys like and you bring out to me and it's a good idea, you will get credit for it, and we will add it to our stream.
Well, you got to give Bill P credit for turning on the lamp behind you.
Yes, I did. I did, and I'm not. If we do the game together later, it's not staying on, because every time I keep that thing on, I don't know, something happens. And he's saying, please, Joe, please take care of my lamp. I got some people to take a look. I don't know if you really want to pay what I'm asking for, but it's not for sale. I mean, I do have another one which I'll take a picture of. One day we'll be in another room, and if you like it, it's of the old Yankee Stadium, the one that they just tore down. I can't believe it's 15 years already. But that's excellent. So we will do that. But
well, Joe, I did want to say is you and I were talking beforehand. I really like that you created this morning show, because you'd even mentioned it. In the morning, there's no one, talking about the Yankees. I think this is genius what you did here, starting this morning show. And I love having Jonathan on. You have Ken on sometimes. You've had 161 NFE. This is awesome. I really like having a morning show to talk about, the game the night before, like you said, and also just talk about things. I think this is a really unique thing you've created here. So I appreciate you welcoming me on today. I appreciate your time and patience, and I'm really glad to be able to hang out with you guys and talk with everybody in the chat and be a part of this. And thanks, Jonathan, as always. I really appreciate, Jonathan, you always being on here. I always like hearing your opinion on things, and it's cool to actually be on a show with you for once, Jonathan. So
thank you. I
just want to say thank you.
I'm always available, except for next week, of course. Next week I'll be away.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Los Angeles.
Oh,
cool.
So I'll be in Los Angeles from Tuesday to next Sunday.
Wow, you're going to be away for the Subway Series. Oh,
yes, boy. I'll be away for the Subway
Series. You can hop on or give us some juicy news from out there.
If I have any news, I'll send you a text, but it's very unlikely I'll be on my computer.
Okay, well, enjoy.
For a streaming service.
Well, enjoy. Definitely enjoy it. Well, Bill, I think you have some competition for the lamp because Desiree says it's a really nice lamp. Man, this lamp, I'll tell you, I'm going to take it with me. Oh, wow. This lamp is really doing the trick. Let's hope it makes the Yankees win. So with that in mind, again, thank you again for, man, oh man, where's the time go? We've been on over an hour and 11 minutes.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Here comes the 111. So if anybody's superstitious, you could play that with your lottery number today. And, so no, but in all honesty, hopefully one way or the other, we will see you in the afternoon. Look for a notification from NY Yankee Mania live game or not. If there is the live game, we will be on 5 minutes before. We'll go over the lineup and get ready. And I hope everybody here, if they have just a little bit that they could spend with me on Mother's Day here on the chat and calling the game, I really appreciate it. And please tell all your friends and family, again, happy Mother's Day, and listen to New York Yankee Mania. We're here. So thank you. Last words from CT and Jonathan. Go right ahead.
I just want to say thank you, Joe. Thank you, Jonathan. Love being on here. I thought this is awesome. This is a cool. I like the way we did the show today with, talking about things. I thought this is really cool. So thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome, Jonathan.
Yeah, to go. I'm hoping for a better outcome to the game, of course, and thank you for inviting me up.
Of course, always. If we don't speak to you, Jonathan, have a great, safe trip. Please be safe.
Yeah.
And then come back and be strong. Tell us all the good stuff.
Are
you going to a game before we go? Are you going to a game?
I'm not going to Dodger game. No, I went to the Dodgers stadium last time I was in LA. It was actually it was a nice stadium. I think I mentioned to you about the stadiums I've been to. I think Dodger Stadium is great. Camden Yards is a good stadium, and what's the other one? The San Francisco. And there's and the Philadelphia. Those are the stadiums.
Awesome.
Those are all, and Seattle. Seattle is awesome.
Yep.
I really enjoyed Seattle.
Which was your favorite? Well, just quickly, which one was your favorite?
Which one was my favorite out of all the non-Yankee stadiums? I like the Dodger Stadium for the old style. But I think my favorite may have been Seattle's.
Okay. And that's in the heart of Washington, D.C., right? Or where is that?
Seattle. Seattle is in Washington State.
In what, right?
Washington, D.C.
That's a 3-hour difference. So sometimes when you hear Washington, you don't realize it's like on the other side. Well, anyway, guys, I'm wrapping it up. Thank you again. Have a safe day. Thank you, CT, for everything that you do.
Thank you.
Desiree and Bill and some of you guys have been terrific. And looking forward to speaking with you later. And have a great day, everyone. We'll see you later. Take care. And, of course, we go with Let's Go Yankees.
Woo!